Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we'll be talking about the Tophill Simple series. So this is a watch all about minimalism, clarity, simplicity, essentially Bauhaus design. Because if you think about it, everywhere around us, wherever you go, there's so much noise, so many bright colors, there's so much clutter. Well, the Bauhaus design is all about keeping things simple, straightforward, but not boring. This watch isn't boring. It's got a lot of interesting elements to it, but most importantly, it costs $50 before tax and it offers premium components such as sapphire crystal, stainless steel, and a leather strap. Like genuine leather, not no substitute. This is the real deal. So this is the watch we'll be talking about today. The affiliate link to the watch is in the description below the video. Do check it out if you're after a sharp price. As well as that, check out the discount codes, which will help you save more. As well as that, check out the link to my collection. So basically, all the watches we've been discussing lately in one place. And now let's dive in and talk about this Tophill in detail. Let's do it. This is the Tophill TS-016G, part of their Simple series, and that name fits perfectly. It's all about quiet elegance and clarity. Sometimes you just want simplicity, the kind you find on a Sunday afternoon, sitting out on the lawn, reading, and letting time slow down. That's what this watch feels like: peaceful, effortless design. The styling draws from Bauhaus design, that minimalist movement born in Germany during the 1920s that believed form should follow function. Clean geometry, balanced proportions, and no ornament for ornament's sake. And that's exactly what's happening right here. Everything you see serves a purpose. The case measures 40 mm across, just 8.2 mm thick, with a compact lug-to-lug length of 43.6 mm and a 20 mm lug width. It's a fully polished stainless steel case with no brush surfaces at all, giving it that basin-like case profile that dips inward before those thin, drooping lugs flare out at the tips. The result is soft, almost liquid geometry, the kind of curvature that catches light without ever feeling flashy. Up top, a flat sapphire crystal sits flush against the polished bezel, adding to the frameless look. From above, it's nearly seamless. The dial just flows straight out to the edge. The dial itself is all about balance: pastel sky blue center, cream outer track, and a date subdial at 2 o'clock. Cleanly integrated and beautifully legible. There's no running seconds hand, which keeps the composition calm and uncluttered, exactly what Bauhaus design strives for. On the right, a minimalist push-pull crown sits slightly recessed beneath the midcase. It's only about 3.2 mm across, but it's easy to grip. You can get a nail under it with no effort. The first position adjusts the date in that off-center subdial. The second sets the time. The crown feels solid, the motion crisp and well damped, with no looseness in the stem or play in the hands. Push it back in and the hand alignment stays perfectly stable. Everything about this Tophill is about restraint, symmetry, proportion, and simplicity done right. Now, the strap on this Tophill is where things start to get interesting, because we've seen plenty of watches around the $50 to $100 mark that claim to use leather, but they feel like plastic straps. And even when they do say genuine leather, the clasps are usually unsigned, the straps unbranded, it all feels a bit generic. But that's not the case here. Up top, we get a grained leather strap, soft and nicely cushioned, with black stitching that keeps it tidy and refined. It gives off that subtle vintage, almost homely character, understated but elegant. The strap has 2 floating keepers, and the polished stainless steel buckle is actually signed with the Tophill name at the tip, which is a small detail, but it completely elevates the overall feel. Flip it over and you'll find a beige underside with matching stitching and again, proper finishing. The top strap embossed with the brand name and the crest, the bottom stamped genuine leather. And the texture confirms it. It feels like real leather, not a substitute. For a watch that costs $50 before tax, this level of execution is impressive. Since we're already here, the CASHBACK also deserves mention. A snap-on stainless steel back etched with Eurasian continent motif. Around it you'll find the model number, brand name and specs like sapphire crystal, stainless steel and 50 meters of water resistance. Even though this is called the Simple series, there is nothing particularly simple about what's happening on the dial. The design immediately draws you in with almost bezel-less architecture. The case flank itself acts as the fixed bezel, holding a flat slab of synthetic sapphire that sits just a fraction above the frame. Completely flush and clean. There's no mention of anti-reflective coating on the listing, but legibility remains excellent. The pastel tones and contrast do all the work. Let your gaze fall below the crystal and you meet a beautifully balanced two-tone layout. Around the perimeter runs a thin beige mini-track, printed in deep navy blue with tiny hash marks at each minute, and small rectangular blocks every 5 minutes. Inside that ring, the main dial spreads out in soft sky blue tone, calming and contemporary, with printed Arabic numerals at every even hour, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 12, and long elegant baton markers for the rest. Everything is printed, not applied, and that restraint fits the Bauhaus spirit perfectly. At 2 o'clock sits the only complication, a beige calendar subdial, also printed, showing the date. It's a thoughtful asymmetric touch that adds texture without disturbing the dial's openness. There's still a full 3-hand layout here, but there's no running seconds, which makes perfect sense. This isn't a watch about precision timing. It's about simplicity, a quiet visual rhythm rather than a constant motion. The hands are slim, polished batons edged in chrome and filled with faint blue glowing lume. That same lume appears in the tiny square markers at each 5-minute position along the mini-track. It's subtle, not a torch by any means. Powering it all is a Japanese quartz movement, accurate, maintenance-free, and chosen precisely because it doesn't intrude on the aesthetic. To be completely frank, I was never really a fan of the Bauhaus designs, but this is my third Bauhaus in the last 2 months, and I'm becoming quite fond of the design. I do like the simplicity, but I like the complications. I like the interesting turns and twists that the watchmaker would have to come up with in order to make something so simple quite interesting and relevant. Anyways, let me know what you thought about the watch in the comments below. And also in the description below the video, check out the affiliate link as well as the discount codes and of course the link to my collection. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.